epic.
Star
Twitter.
Wars story heads response to canon complaints. Did you
What?
see? Did you not see this?
No, I don't know what you're
Holy
talking.
crap! This is freaking awesome. So one of the story heads, so Lucasfilm Story Group creative executive Matt Martin told, this is on Twitter, told fans to chill when it comes to canon, because the way he sees it, you can just kind of like have your own head canon. You know, you can include whatever you want or don't want to, because it's all fake anyway. Which pretty much your face is so perfect right now. I love it. Which pretty much amounts to like, you guys are a bunch of nerds. Why do you even care so much about this? Talk about completely having no concept, no understanding whatsoever of your customer and your fan base, and then opening your mouth and demonstrating it for the entire world to see. He basically said, yeah, at this point, we understand that none of it makes any f***ing sense, and we've given up, and so should you. Because who cares anyway? It's all fake. Of course it's fake. It's a story. That doesn't mean that there isn't a value to trying to tell a cohesive one.
And who cares? Dave Filoni. Just saying it right now. Dave Filoni cares.
Just
Filoni's what's holding all this together.
Just brutal. Just absolutely brutal. And it's like, I you know what? I get it. As someone, if I were to come in onto that team, right? Actually, no. I was about to say, if I were to join that team, I might just kind of go, yeah, you know what? Forget it. I give up. None of this makes any sense. So we're just gonna have to just treat Star Wars like, you know, what it has become. Just kind of making it up as we go, and plot holes and inconsistencies be damned, because the ship completely sailed. You know it sailed a long time ago. I don't think I could do it though. Who wouldn't give up? Dave Filoni? Okay, fine. I just don't think it would be. I don't think I could do it. Like okay, so you know, total miracle. You know, someone, a decision maker at Disney is watching this right now, and they're like, hey, this guy seems to have his act together. Let's put Linus in charge. Okay, they bring me in tomorrow. I would probably scrap, like, oh man, I would do some controversial stuff, man. So I would scrap the entire sequel trilogy, because that's not
very controversial.
I actually came up with, well, yes and no. There's salvageable stuff in there, but I came up with this idea, like right out of the gate. The sequel trilogy makes no sense whatsoever, because the notoriously racist Empire has Finn as a soldier, which is like, why? So there was plenty of room for, because I know a lot of people are really upset about the sequels because it felt like Disney was trying to hit a diversity quota. I actually don't mind that at all. There is nothing wrong with that. This is obviously a gigantic galaxy full of, you know, everything from you know, baby Yodas to humans to Sarlaccs to whatever. Like that diversity is actually like core to Star Wars to me. Like if Luke and Obi-Wan wandered into that cantina, okay, and it was full of like, you know, a bunch of white dudes like them, we're not going to be like, oh wow, what a cool galaxy they've created that's totally different from somewhere that I could have walked down the street and gone. Like that would have been stupid. Diversity is foundational. But I think they should have just had Rey and Finn swap. I think that, and another thing too is because the ex-Stormtrooper had no character development or story arc whatsoever, they should have had
killing all the Stormtroopers.
What's that?
And has no issue killing all his.
Yeah, exactly. I think that Rey the trooper, okay, should have actually had like a really dark history, and we should see her do something awful before something happens. Like some kind of catalyst needs to take place here.
She's perfect.
She would be perfect for it. You actually don't have to alter either of those characters at all. You just need to put them in each other's roles. You need to let that romance blossom the way that it was obviously supposed to. You need to let them both be Force sensitive the way that they were obviously supposed to. The other really cool thing that this does for Rey, oh yeah, I totally forgot about this when I was talking to someone else about it, is that it adds some legitimacy whatsoever to the whole conflicted part of her story. Because that whole thing where she's like shooting Force lightning one moment and then Force healing the next moment is just, it just doesn't make any sense. It's just stupid. And you could be like, oh, well, yeah, well, it's just all fake. It's like, yeah, it's all fake. But if I just wrote a completely incoherent garbage screenplay where nothing meshed with anything else, that would also be fake and it would also be bad. So if she actually did something really, really awful at the beginning of that movie, you know, she is Kylo Ren's, or she's a Knight of Ren, okay? Like, give her some kind of significance. Now we're talking. We've got kind of, you know, bumbling Finn getting kind of swept up into all of this. You know, maybe he falls for her in spite of the fact that she's got this like evil side. Maybe they work through that together. They both get actual character arcs. As it is,
actually so
they've
much
got
more interested
nothing.
in this already.
They've got nothing. And you could have done all of that without even upsetting the people that are like, main characters are fulfilling diversity quotas, blah, 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 because those actors in those roles would have been fantastic, and those stories would have been ones that I would have wanted to hear. As it was, we had a stormtrooper who was just like, you know, honestly kind of a and never actually did anything, who then goes on to not really actually do anything, and it's just like a sequence of events. And I don't even blame any one person.
His character is so wasted.
Completely wasted.
There's so many,
utterly wasted.
Even the like Force sensitive thing near the end, which they tease so many times throughout that movie. Yep. And then when you get out of it, you're like, wait, that was it?
And you know what the issue too is, though, is that because I guess because of this attitude that it's just all fake anyway, so who cares? They take so many liberties with the way that the universe, you know, works, right? Like, I got really upset when R2-D2 sprouted jetpacks in the prequel trilogy for this same reason. It's like, if R2-D2 doesn't have jetpacks to launch himself out of the swamp on Dagobah in Empire Strikes Back, excuse me, then he doesn't have jetpacks to fly around and comically amuse the kids, you know, and bop the droids or whatever in, I think it's Phantom Menace. But so many people complained about how Rey was like this super OP Force user, right? That was a common complaint. We can all agree on that. Yep. And there was a lot of speculation that like, oh, well, it's because, you know, they're trying to pander to, you know, people who think, you know, women should have more leading roles or whatever else. It's all diversity quota. Sure. It's all diversity quota. No, it's just bad storytelling, and they did it all over the place. You know, look at the first scene where we meet Poe Dameron. It's ridiculous. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it right now. Yeah.
It's that ground battle where he basically rips in and is clearly, like, if we were to go into the actual, like, files, okay, the animation files, the CGI, we go in, he's ripping around at literally 4x the speed of anything else in the air, flying with reflexes.
Well, that's not when we first meet Poe Dameron, right? Is it?
I believe that's our first introduction to him, isn't it?
I thought we come in pretty early with Finn coming off the ship, and they're fighting on the ground, and like Poe shoots.
Okay, sorry. Okay, whatever. I think you're right. So sorry. The one, no, not the one where we meet him then. The one where he rips in with his X-wing when they're fighting on the ground, and just
he meets like the crew. He meets the rest of them. The heroes.
Yeah, no look headshots. Absolutely everything flying around at triple to quadruple the speed of anything else in the air. And you're looking at it going, yeah, you're looking at it going, well, that's just stupid. You know, the best pilots in the galaxy, you know, a short 20 years ago or whatever, could not do that, right?
Yeah, almost certainly better training, et cetera, and he's not Force sensitive. Well, theoretically. I mean, Han is, so who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. So you know what? I think his attitude is basically why Star Wars is dead to me, and it should be dead to you. Because if they don't care at all about continuity, and they're just going to go in and keep trying to fix one thing while breaking three others, it is only going to get worse.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually haven't watched the new Star Wars Clone Wars series that came
Yeah.
out. But the feedback that I've been seeing, I've been trying to stay away from spoilers because I want to watch it all properly. But the feedback that I've been seeing is really positive, and The Mandalorian was awesome. And
It was mediocre. You were just desperate.
okay, it's awesome compared to the three most recent movies.
It's Smallville in space.
That's fine. Compared to the
Fine.
three most recent movies.
I watched the whole thing, so like I clearly made it through it. Like, but it's Smallville in space. It's Monster of the Week. It's Buffy. Okay.
Okay,
Let's
I'm
be
not saying
honest.
it's the greatest thing ever, but
It's
compared to the
Bewitched.
three most recent movies, what do you
Okay.
think?
It's Bewitched.
Three most recent movies
That's
versus
that show,
it, what do
right,
you
Vaughn?
think?
Vaughn, Bewitched. Is that Bewitched? Is that show where they're all like teen witches or something, and there's like a monster and they have to defeat it?
I haven't seen
every
any
week?
of these shows, so I don't really
Charmed.
know.
Charmed. Sorry, it's
I haven't
Charmed.
seen that either.
Not Bewitched. It's Charmed. It's Smallville. That's what it is.
I don't watch shows very often. Just
Fine.
compared to the three most recent movies.
Integer Overlord, by the way, just says, hey, there's like 150 like expanded previously expanded universe books that managed to keep the story straight. Here's an idea. Why don't you just use that? I know, right? That's what everyone wanted them to do.
There is a bunch of garbage in there, but there's also a lot of awesomeness. I've had a really good time going through the EU.
Okay, I'm sorry. I really was being very rude. I wasn't listening to your question. Hit me
Little
one more
bit.
time. One more time.
Okay,
Okay.
compare the Mandalorian instead of on its own.
Yeah,
Compare the Mandalorian against the most recent three movies.
it's much worse than Firefly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It is maybe a third as good as Firefly.
Instead of comparing it on its own, compare it against the most recent three movies, because there's some interesting aspects there too. They
Sure.
had to. I mean, if you think about it, he has to craft this show while these movies are coming out.
Yeah.
And he had to like. They had to work things into the show to
Yeah.
explain stuff that was going to happen in the upcoming movie.
Right.
And there is things that happen in the show that only happen in that show because the upcoming movie was coming.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh no, we need to do something. Like when Baby Yoda force heals,
Yeah.
that's there because of the new movie. I read this whole thing about it. They
Yeah.
were trying to like soft introduce it to the community so that people didn't freak out so much with the movie. It didn't really save them at all. But
No, it didn't, because it
um,
was still stupid, because there were still so many issues. You know, like why didn't Obi-Wan just like force heal Qui-Gon? Why didn't everybody just force heal everyone ever?
why didn't Qui-Gon just force heal Qui-Gon?
Yeah,
He
I
just
mean-
do it himself.
Because there's so many problems. Like we could go and we could find problems everywhere, but just some of them I don't find as offensive. You know, like lightsabers, for example. The OP-ness of a lightsaber has been a little bit inconsistent. Okay, so on the one hand, you've got Luke and Vader battling in Bespin, right, in Cloud City, and Luke hits Vader in the shoulder, and it doesn't like cut off his arm. All right.
Yeah.
Then another example of, you know, lightsabers not being, you know, super de-duper OP would be when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are cutting their way out of the room where they're being held right at the beginning of Phantom Menace.
Slow.
Right? Okay, so these are instances where, or not of cutting their way out of the room, cutting their way into the other room. Whatever, the point is they put it through and it's
Yeah.
like, it takes a long time to cut it. It's more like a plasma cutter at that point. But then... then there are instances where lightsabers seem to slice through anything instantly, right? So there are inconsistencies, but I can accept.
I don't know if that's
small
completely
ones.
fair. Yeah, I don't know if the lightsaber. Yeah, because you don't know what that stuff is made of. And if you look at like material science on Earth, there are materials that will damage or cut or scrape or whatever certain other materials instantly that look very similar to ones that they will do next to nothing to. And I think another example of the OP-ness calculation, the Obi-Wan's lightsaber completely failing against Vader.
Yes.
There's very few times that we see something like that again. It's
Yep.
mentioned in the EU a bit.
Yep.
There's a really interesting book with Mace Windu where he has to like recharge his lightsaber. I don't remember what one it is, but it's a bit of it's an interesting book. It's kind of like a thriller. Anyways,
so the biggest problem is basically just that they don't have any consistency, and it's so far gone that I don't think anyone cares anymore. And so they're saying
Dave
pretty
Filoni
much,
cares.
if we don't care, then no one should care. So yeah, I'm out.
The saltier than crate subreddit cares.
I'm done.
I think a lot of other people care. Dave Filoni cares. People still care, Linus.